recently discovered that my husband's been using dating apps, including LGBTQ dating apps. It has led to him sleeping with someone, receiving oral, and he was also just diagnosed with HPV.
Jeez, what a mess. I'm sorry. What up? What is up? This is John of the Dr. John Delony Show, taking your calls from all over planet Earth. On your relationships, your mental and emotional health, your physical health, whatever you got going on, I'll sit with you and we'll figure out what's your next right move. Go to johndelony.com/ask if you want to be on the show. And please take 2 seconds and hit the subscribe button if you're watching this on YouTube. Or if you're watching this, or if you're listening to this on podcast, whether it's on Spotify, whether it's on Apple, wherever you're listening to this, please just take a second and subscribe to the show. It makes such a huge, huge difference. All right, let's go out to San Diego and talk to Bianca. What's up, Bianca?
Hi there.
How's it going?
It's going.
What's up?
All right, so I guess I'm calling today to see your thoughts on whether or not I should stay with my husband after his infidelity and betrayal.
Tell me more.
Okay, so I recently discovered that my husband's been using dating apps, including LGBTQ dating apps, throughout our entire relationship.
Okay.
It has led to, more recently, him sleeping with someone, receiving oral, kissing another, and he was also just diagnosed with HPV.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Have you got tested yet?
I have. We have a 3-year-old and a 2-month-old. So I had gotten my test done while I was pregnant, and then we also went to the doctors again, and they said that I'm going to have to wait to get more tests. Yeah. But as of right now, I don't have any symptoms. Everything was negative.
Yeah, HPV can hang around a while. Jeez, what a mess. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
What a nightmare.
Yeah,
so I usually almost exclusively I won't tell somebody you have to leave right now.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you, but I don't mind asking questions that might open the doors for you to see, your way in or out of a new situation. Tell me about your thoughts about why you would stay.
Well, we do have our family, and I know that he loves me. I think I lost him somewhere along the way to himself. And
let me change this. Let me change that language around. He left you. You didn't lose him.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, but you're not that powerful. He left you.
Yeah.
Do you get that difference? That sounds like a semantics difference, but that's a massive psychological shift.
Yeah, that's true.
Because one, you're trying to figure out what you did wrong, that he would be out hitting the streets while you're creating humans.
Yeah.
The other is exhaling and realizing I'm powerless, and my husband chose, while I was making humans inside my body, to go endanger our entire family.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's just, I guess it is. I mean, I know it has nothing to do with me. Like you said, it's just that constant, okay, well, what was I missing? What was I? And I know it wasn't me. And we're both in counseling. He's fighting for us staying together and to keep our family together. And he's stepped up in many ways. And Do
you have all the codes to his phone?
Now I do, yes.
Are all the apps off the phone?
Yes, everything's gone.
Have you seen his full test results?
Yeah, he's negative and everything. It's just that.
Okay. So I guess the thing I would tell you is the marriage you had is over. It doesn't exist anymore. The question is, are you going to be involved in building a new one with this man?
I think that's why I'm calling, because I guess I'm scared.
You should be.
Yeah.
You would be, your innate safety systems would not be working well.
No.
If you weren't terrified.
Yeah.
He has a forever STD.
I know, exactly. And that's what is terrifying for me too, because he's had it, and of course, I mean, he's my husband, we're sexually active, and it's like I don't know what the future holds, and if I do have it and it's dormant, and like it's so unfair.
Yes, that's a great word.
All of it has been very, very unfair, and it's not what I ever imagined to be going through.
And so what must be true for you to be safe and to make sure you and these two kids are okay?
Yes, I agree.
No, I'm asking you, what must be true?
Oh, how do you mean?
Like, do you have money? Do you have a job?
No.
You have a place to live?
He's our main provider.
Okay.
So there was like a little bit, there was financial abuse going on. He's the main provider, and he was trying to hide everything from me. So it was constantly like going back and forth, getting me, joint bank accounts. And so once I finally, confronted him and everything's been coming out, I demanded all of our banking information. And that's when I found out that all of the dating apps, and he was going to strip clubs while he was out of town, and he has a drinking problem. He's had a drinking problem. So
have you pulled your credit report to see what he's taken out on in your name?
No, he doesn't have that information.
He 100% has that information.
Oh. No, I haven't.
100% he has your name and social security number. Which is all it takes to open up a mortgage, credit cards, a line of credit, a HELOC. That's all it takes. And so here's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing a woman that fully doesn't know what the bottom of this well is.
Yeah.
Because you don't believe you have all the information, do you?
I mean, yes, no.
Okay, that means no.
I guess, I mean, he's told me and gone into detail of everything that I've shared with you so far. But I feel like, I don't know, that's like part of like, well, that questioning of like, is that really everything? Is that, this has been going on for so many years. We've been together for 7.5 years and married 1. So it's like, I find it hard to believe that that's it.
But you have to understand every year of your relationship has been
a lie.
A lie.
Yeah.
I'm hearing somebody who's desperately trying to hang on to an imaginary thing that existed, that never existed.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like I feel like that, and then like I also don't.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to justify
it's a disorienting. Like your whole world, as you knew it, is not what it was, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Your feelings should be all over the place. What you know to be true should feel all over the place. You should be both pissed off at yourself for not seeing it and or knowing something wasn't right and just ignoring it. Like all of that is true.
Yeah.
So there's not a roadmap here.
Yeah, I know.
But you can write a roadmap for tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
And that starts with, can I trust you?
I guess that's like a question if I would be able to build that trust.
Right.
And I think, like, of course, like how you said, like my life is flipped upside down. I'm like constantly here and constantly there, getting pulled in every direction. And he's, trying really hard. He's going to his individual therapy. We're doing couples therapy. He's 2 months sober now. He's going to be going to like an AA or some type of group.
But you still haven't exhaled yet. Yeah, you're still waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah.
And you can't build in anything new until you've totally exhaled.
Yeah.
So maybe he did, man. Maybe he cleared the deck and told you everything. I can imagine a world where this is going to sound insane if you've never been in the side of this hurricane, but the longer you can keep wondering if there's something else out there, the longer you can put off having to deal with this is what is true. Because you can keep some sort of an investigative hat on instead of just looking at the ash that was your life.
Yeah, that's where I've been kind of coming to terms with, if it's just not necessarily something that I need to let go, but something that like I can't keep pushing and trying to find more, trying to investigate or discover more, I guess.
What else are you going to find?
I don't know.
I mean, what else would be like, there it is. You know what I mean? Like what?
Yeah.
Unless it's like a family member or something that he was with, or like a close family friend or so. Like what else would you keep digging and digging and digging for?
I guess it's like, if it really is, like if there's more people.
Than the 3 you know about?
Yeah.
I guarantee you there is.
Yeah.
There's not a doubt in my mind. And there's not a doubt in your mind either.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I've told him that.
Yeah.
I know, like, with everything that's happened and us talking and like I said, it has nothing to justify or clarify or make anything that he's done okay. But I do know, I feel like there's childhood trauma that gives context.
Absolutely. Context is not an excuse.
But exactly, it's not an excuse. It's a choice that he made repeatedly.
And now he's endangered the life and health of your baby and of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Thank you. It's definitely not been an easy pill to swallow.
No. I think the place where I would start if I were you is 60 to 90 day chunks. Because the temptation is to make forever declarations at this moment. Sometimes in the middle of a crisis, things go on a week by week or month by month basis. And so my challenge to you is to, the best you can, clear the fantasy away and what you want so desperately to be true, and just choose reality for a brief time. And I've only been able to do this. I've only seen people be able to do this with a pen and a paper. Write down, here's what is true. And here's what must be true for us to establish or reestablish trust in the next 30 days. And then in 30 days, we're going to reevaluate, or 90 days. Here's what must be true. No phone, no access to the checking account. I just simply don't trust you at all. You spent this much money at strip clubs. You spent this much money on dating apps to go hook up with other people. You still haven't been honest with me. You don't have tons of dating apps over 6 years, spend your away time in strip clubs and only get caught with the 2 or 3 people in your, like, that's just not how that works.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's just not, it just is what it is. But what must be true for the next 60 days? And you get to change your mind.
Okay.
Okay? And then in 60 days, let everybody know, in 60 days, we're going to come back to this table, and I'm going to give you a new roadmap for reestablishing trust. And you have to know that every step along the way, he can say, this sucks, I'm out. I'm not doing that. I'm not giving you my phone. I'm not sharing the checking account numbers with you anymore. And that means you're going to have to begin asking questions right now. Very unfair, very unbelievable questions, like about economic security. You're going to have to go get a job, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have some way to support yourself if this happens again, and all the data points towards this will happen again.
Yeah.
And then you get 60 days. And then you get 60 more days after that. And then maybe you get 120 days after that. But we're going to slowly, if this thing's going to make a run, we're going to slowly rebuild trust. And while you're writing out on this list, like what must be true for me to reestablish trust? I need you home. No phones in the house. No, fill in the blank. By the way, pull your credit report before, right when you get off this call. There's 3 free credit reports. Hang on the line and we'll get you the email address to them. But you can pull them and they're free. Kelly, what are they?
Well, you can go to freecreditreport.com.
That's it. Freecreditreport.com. It'll pull credit reports from all 3 reporting agencies, and you can just get a broad look about any debt that has been pulled in your name and everything you owe. You may say, I'm not interested in rebuilding this thing. It never was what I thought it was, and there's not enough. Like, what I thought was metal is just rusted dust, and I can't rebuild this. Or, all right, we're going to rebuild it. Here's what must be true. And maybe he meets 60 days, then he meets the next 60 days, and then he meets 120 days, and all of a sudden you look up and he's 6 months sober, and y'all are making this thing work. But I'm not going to tell you yes or no. I'm going to tell you the odds are very much stacked against you because you've got somebody who's quote unquote got caught. You've got someone who may or may not have given you an STD, may or may not have given your baby an STD, and he still hasn't told you the full truth. And you don't have all the answers, so it's hard when you're still swimming before you put your feet on the ground. And you got to put your feet on the ground before you stand all the way up and begin to rebuild something. So, Bianca, you call me anytime you want to, and I wish you the best. I have it in my guts that you would leave if you knew a way to do that. Financially, relationally, legally. And so maybe sitting down with the lawyer and asking, what would this even look like? Not that you're going to leave, but just so you have some information. Because I'm hearing a woman who feels like you've got no options and no moves. And I want to reestablish your safety with information and with relationships. You got to have a couple of women in your life that you call, a therapist you reach out to, that will walk with you during this really difficult time. Thanks for the call, sister. Call anytime we can help. When we come back, a woman asks how to embrace her husband's newfound wealth. All right, here we are. We are in the fall. Summer is gone, and the days are getting shorter, and school is back in action, and the Q4 work stresses are hitting hard, and everybody is finding themselves wanting to numb out a little bit more and a little bit more. We all have to be intentional about protecting our sleep because sleep is a massive part of how good or how not good we feel. And when our bodies aren't resting, our minds can't reset. It's one of the most important things we do to stay mentally sharp and emotionally ready and overall healthy so we can show up for our families, our kids, and our teams at the office. And this is why I keep talking about Helix. I love Helix. They build mattresses made for you, not the generic average sleeper. Whether you're a hot sleeper or a side sleeper or a back sleeper or somewhere in between, Helix designs mattresses around your needs. Yours. Get online and take the Helix sleep quiz. Just like I did, it takes like 2 minutes, and they're going to match you with exactly the right mattress. And right now, my audience can get an exclusive 25% off during their extended Labor Day sale. Go to helixsleep.com/Delony for 25% off site-wide. That's Helix, Helix, helixsleep.com/Delony, and tell them you heard about it right here on this show. With Helix, better sleep starts right now. Let's go to the 512. Just got back last night from Austin, Texas, and talked to Annie. What's up, Annie?
Hey, John. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I've got a little bit of a probably maybe silly question compared to some of your other calls, but
You can't get any sillier than some of the calls I get here. You're all right.
Okay.
What's up?
We'll try it. How do I change my relationship with her or attitude towards money and wealth? And the context is my husband is on a very clear 2 to 3 year path to, life-changing generational wealth, which is awesome. Like, it's been a big life goal of his. Like, he's going to succeed. It's going to be awesome. Also, I don't know it's only a number until, it's real. But, it's just not what I want. And it, makes me scared of what the future holds. I've just never, ever, ever wanted money like that. And I don't know what to do about it.
How long have you been married?
I don't know how to. 7 years. 7 years.
How, after almost a decade, are y'all just having this conversation that your two life goals are this far apart?
Well, when we got together, he was already independently wealthy. He'd already had one business. He was making it. I had a successful career. I was very happy with it. I would call us right now, we're just happily upper middle class. And I'm happy with it. He's always had this goal. And I'll be honest, but how often does someone succeed at that level? It's not that I didn't believe him. It was I can be there for you if and when, it doesn't matter if you don't make it. I love you. It doesn't matter if you don't make that much money. I love you. But he's actually going to make it. And that's, I don't know how many people did it actually happen to. I think that was just my thinking.
So why does money scare you?
I just feel like it's when everything gets so easy, because money makes things easy. When it gets so easy, how do you still?
Oh, sister, it doesn't make things easy. It gives you options. It does not make things easy.
Yeah.
It gives you tons of options. But man, things are complex and on top of complex.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's just more you're right. You're right. Maybe in the day-to-day living, things feel easy. You can have convenience, you can have all that type of stuff.
Sure.
And I think I'm trying to protect my kids from that. I don't want them growing up with that. And he agrees with that. So we're on the same page with that. But I don't know how that looks. I don't know how to keep discipline when it's just everything can be at your fingertips. I just don't know how to set that up and keep us all on the right path of what I feel like is the right path for our characters and who we are, when there's so much access to anything and everything at any time.
Okay, so this tells me two things. Either A, and maybe both. A, you already see signs of concern with who your husband is, and this is going to pour gasoline on that. Or you grew up with a relationship with money where it was those people spent money on that kind of crap, and we don't do that. That's not who we are.
Yeah, I was probably what people would consider a silver spoon growing up myself.
Okay.
Private, elite high school, college paid for by my parents. But we were around much more money than we had. So it was we kind of were forced to be the responsible ones about the money around the people who were doing.
You all had to go on budget ski trips to Aspen.
Yes. No, it was not.
Y'all had to share a private jet instead of just take your own.
But yes, we're around celebrities and that's what the world we grew up in, and that wasn't us. And so I think I just internalized we just didn't have that, but all of our friends and all of the people around us did. So I don't know if I just internalized like how to be responsible with it, or just like, that's just not me. I don't know what it was, but it's just, I've never been motivated by money ever. Like, it's just not been my motivator whatsoever. Like, never asked for a raise at job that I had a very good paid job at, just given, right? Like,
okay, but that doesn't, Rich Mullins is a famous theologian, and you may not even be a person of faith, but I love his statement. He said, Christians are often as proud of the things they don't have as people of immense wealth are of the things they do have.
Yeah.
It's the same pathology, just on the other side of the barbell.
Yeah.
And when I was driving an old used truck, not a cool one, but like an embarrassing one, the number of times someone would pull up next to me in a Lexus and I'd be like, I can't believe that. Man, that was me. That was my problem. That was my story that I invented about that person. Because I don't know if that person gave away $25 million and if that's a used look. I don't know. I don't know their story. Right? The only thing you can control is who you are going to be with or without resources. Mm-hmm. And so let me talk to you about, talk to me about your husband. What signs are you already seeing that, this is not going to be good? This is going to be given somebody who struggles with alcoholism a big case of expensive bourbon.
No, I'd say there's two. One is even at our convenience is just like key to him. So like a little bit of laziness, I think, that might like scares me a little. Okay. And then two, this one's not out of control. And I know what you think about gambling, but he sports bets on the side. Like, it's not out of control right now. Okay. Right. Like I know it's not, but again, when you have access to,
y'all share your money?
In effect, yes. We have a shared account. He owns businesses, though, so a lot of it moves in and out of those that I just... Okay,
so let's be honest as we can, okay? Let's be transparently honest. You have no idea what he does with his money.
Not all of it, correct. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't know. And I would not have a career in front of a microphone or off a microphone if people who thought, no, this particular thing is under control.
Yeah.
You have something in your spirit that says, I just don't know.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah. It's a question.
So here's like, what I would love for you to do is money is just a symptom. Money's just, it's a, I don't know. I mean, it's a tool. Mm-hmm. The bigger question is beginning to ask yourself, who are we? Who is he? Who am I going to become now, right now in this marriage? What would happen to us if suddenly they launch an AI app tomorrow that eats your husband's business and it goes away, right? Who knows? Right. Or if he is the chief shareholder of NVIDIA and he's going to cash out in a couple of years, and you're going to have $1 trillion. Like, either way, y'all have to still look at each other across the table and say, who are we going to be?
Yeah.
And if you are feeling unsafe as this thing gets bigger and bigger, then you got to be able to put that on a table. And if your marriage partner's all in with you, both feet in the boat, then they got to be able to hear that and say, okay, what must be true for us to both feel safe in this deal?
Yeah.
Is there a fear that he's going to cash out and he's going to cash all the way out of you too?
Is it a fear specific to him? No. Okay. Is it a fear that like that happens?
Okay.
Yes.
Have you ever said that to him?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What other fears have you not said to him?
That is more about the kids and how they'll grow up.
Okay. I would love for y'all to have that conversation right now. Are you already seeing signs of, my kids aren't going to work? My kids aren't picking up their own clothes. We'll hire somebody. Are you already seeing that?
No, but like, not specific kids, but more like he's like, let's live and help. Where I'm like, I don't want them to have I don't want it myself, and I don't want that for them.
Okay. And so ask the question beneath the live and help. What would live and help provide for us?
For him, convenience and not having to do the work.
Okay. And putting it on the table saying, hey, it's a big value of me that our kids are modeled that even when you have all the money in the world, you still do your own laundry. How old are your kids?
11 months and 4.
Oh, God. I was going to say, if they're 16 and 18, y'all can wait for 2 years and then get whatever you want. But like, okay, y'all are just starting from the floor up.
Yeah.
11 months and 4. That tells me you're seeing things already that you don't like.
I've just heard that line. I think maybe you just said it, or maybe you said it before, that like money exacerbates things. And I'm just, I don't know what that means and what that looks like for us. Yeah.
I'm curious about your fear of, like, because you have an 11-month-old now. You have a new marriage.
Mm-hmm.
What about inviting another human into the house has made you really concerned?
It literally is that it changes the dynamic of your family. Like,
Yes.
I wouldn't want another human in here where it's like I would be tiptoeing around. Like, I couldn't be myself if there's someone else here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but I'm curious about why you're apprehensive to say that.
He would have live-in help if he could. I've said no so far.
Okay.
So that one is on the table.
Okay.
But it's because that's the most extreme. Because that's just the easiest to say. It's the most extreme. It's the easiest to say no to.
Does he help with diapers?
He helps when asked. He helps with dishes. He helps. He does trash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm asking that just to ask. I'm trying to get to the core of your question because I'm hearing a woman who's increasingly feeling less safe in her own skin.
Yeah. I know.
And sometimes when people have kids, this happened in my house when we had kid 1 and then kid 2. I didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I felt so useless in my own house. I tried to solve that through work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was working in education, so I wasn't going to ever make life-changing money, but like I was just doubling down on that.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to get at. It doesn't sound like that's the case here.
No, I don't think so. So even as of right now, I had a great career, chose myself to walk away from the career to take the care of the kids right now. But like, even if I wanted to go back, like, I can't go back. If we're going to have that money, it's silly and stupid. Like, so that has been decided for me too. Like,
Said who?
No one, but like, who has that money and has a wife that works? That's just not
the vast majority of people I work with and have worked with for my whole career. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that narrative isn't a true story. That's a story that you've told yourself, and that might be one of your values, and that's great.
Yeah.
But if increasingly you being out of the workforce and your husband sort of sharing money, but I don't really know how things are working, and I just keep hearing these more zeros getting added on to the sale of this potential business one day, and you're increasingly feeling less and less and less safe, then I want to put that on the table. And I don't know that going back to work cures it, but it might.
Yeah.
Or the fear of money may be just where your anxiety dart game landed and you're feeling more and more anxious as you feel less and less control of your own life.
Yeah, that's probably more it. Yeah.
Because here's the fear. My fear is you solve the money thing. Like, y'all get he's like, fine, dude. Maybe he's a great guy. Like, yeah, we'll put it all in the same account. You can see all my business accounts. That's no problem. And it will just move to the next thing because you're not dealing with the core issue, which is I'm feeling less and less purpose, less and less skills, or I don't know, this is me just spitballing here, throwing spaghetti against the wall. But if you quit a high-paying job where you're very successful to be a stay-at-home mom, then your husband comes home and is like, I want to hire some help full-time. I can imagine being like, well, crap, what did I just do? You know what I mean? Like, I'd feel pretty small.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Like, I just don't even know, like, what is my role
there it is
in that scenario? Like, there's expendable.
Okay, there it is. You said it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you have everything, you can just hire it out.
Yeah.
And now you're married to somebody who's got resources to the end of the moon and back. And even your language, he's going to make a lot of money.
I know.
I would love, if it's safe, I would love for you to be able to sit at the table and say, hey, with all of these resources that are coming our way, with you wanting to hire help that I quit my job to really take on, if we're going to hire private tutors and private schools and like, I'm beginning to feel expendable in my own house. I don't feel like I'm going to have a purpose here. So have the conversation now before the big check comes. It's much easier to have this conversation philosophically when there's so much more on the table before all that money starts coming in. Thanks for the call, Annie. And if you just get a ton of money, you don't know what to do with it, hang on the line. I'll get you my Venmo, and you can just send it this way. I would give some to Kelly. She's so old. She doesn't even have Venmo. She doesn't know how it works. I'll write her a check. I'll cut her a check. That would probably be good. And she can put under her mattress with the rest of her coins and her T-bills. Thank you so much for the call. You are awesome. We come back. A mother and a son ask for help on how to agree on watching horror movies in a faith-based home. We talk a lot on this show about boundaries. You know, emotional boundaries, relational, financial, but there's one boundary that almost nobody talks about. Boundaries in your digital life. Right now, your personal information, like your phone number, your address, even where your kids go to school, sitting on countless gnarly websites that you have never heard of. And you didn't give them permission to have that information, but it's out there. And let's be honest, that's not just annoying. That's violating. That constant exposure creates this low-level hum of anxiety in the background of all of our lives. Something always feels off. Somebody's always watching us or trying to profit off of us. That's why I use Delete Me. Delete Me goes after the data brokers and the people finder sites that collect and resell your information without your permission. They track down your info and they remove it, and every few months they send you a report showing you exactly what they did. Taking control of your digital life is about boundaries and it's about peace. So go to joindeleteme.com/Delony to save 20% off so that you can have digital boundaries and digital peace. That's joindeleteme.com/Delony. All right, let's go out to Penny in Denver, Colorado. Hey, Penny, what's up?
Hi, Dr. John. How are you?
I'm doing great. All right, I'm going to bring on Logan here. Is Logan your son, Penny?
Yes, Logan is my son.
How old is he?
17.
Oh, this is going to be fantastic. All right, I'm going to bring on Logan here. Logan, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, John.
All right. Dude, you sound like you're 36. That's fantastic. I talked like this until I was like 28. That's great, man. All right, so we got Penny and Logan. What's up, everybody? Penny, you go first. How can I help?
Okay, well, I just want to throw out there that I've been listening since you started, and so Logan's been raised on Dr. John in a sense. He's gone through.
Oh, I'm sorry, Logan.
That way.
I'm sorry, man.
So this is my question, and he was actually the one that suggested we were having a conflict around horror, and he was the one that actually suggested that I give you a call because he said, well, Dr. John listened to crazy music and watched horror movies. Maybe you should call him.
Logan, I am profoundly not well. I don't know why you would call me, but all right, let's do this.
All right, so the question is what are your thoughts and suggestions on how to support our son's interests and passions at 17 while keeping him safe and holding true to our values and beliefs in this case when it comes to horror movies, violent video games, and edgier, questionable music?
Ah, okay. Man, Logan, why'd you do this to me, man? All right, so Penny, give me the backstory here.
Okay, so we are a faith-based family,
okay.
And I was lucky enough to grow up in a very strict Christian home. And are
you saying lucky facetiously, or are you saying lucky like you really feel lucky?
It was both. It was definitely both. But
okay.
I mean, we didn't celebrate Halloween. There was
the devil's holiday.
No secular music in the house. There was There was no Steven Spielberg in the house. So there was...
dang. No Harry Potter, I'm assuming, huh?
Definitely no Harry Potter. I mean, that was past my time. And so that's my background.
Okay.
And so we had this little boy who began showing interest in darker things probably starting at the age of 3. started with pirates, and then it was skeletons and skulls and all the Egyptology things, and it's just kind of moved on from there. And so my husband and I have tried. We've worked really hard to try to meet him in the middle, but it's still very uncomfortable, and it's really, really hard to navigate what's okay and what's not okay without making Logan feel like he's being dismissed or his interests are not being valued or and then at the same time, some of it really is really concerning stuff. But now we're at 17, and so he's almost an adult. And how do we continue to have these conversations? We do a lot of like looking up reviews, and I have him read the reviews before he does them, and we make sure that, you know, certain movies are maybe not overly sexualized, or there's not child possession of demons and things like that. But it's still a conflict, and it's been a conflict for years with music, with video games, and with horror.
Sure. So, Penny, before I talk to Logan, can I just say this? You are maybe the most thoughtful parent I've ever heard speak on this topic before. Meaning, it's easy to be dismissive. And it's easy to lack empathy just on basic human curiosity, especially with young folks. And it's also really humbling for a parent to say, this is how I was raised and these are my values, and maybe I'm not seeing the whole picture here. But I do feel strongly about something. And I've never heard somebody articulate like you just did, which is you don't want to dismiss Logan and the things he's into and the things he finds exciting or interesting. At the same time, there's something in your guts that says, like, I don't know why someone would put this in their mind. So, high five to you. Good for you. All right, Logan, tell me about you, brother.
Hey, John. Yeah. So, I've been an avid horror fan for a while. It's always been like, there was only like a really short period where I was a kid where the stuff actually scared me, and then I started finding it cool more than scary.
Okay.
And it's just, it's been like, and especially, with like, I'm a metalhead, all the way, love heavy metal. And it's just been, I don't know, it's something that's, been more difficult to try to explain why I find this stuff interesting.
Okay. When you say it doesn't scare you anymore and now it's just cool, what's cool?
Like I find instead of like, let's say you're watching a horror movie and there's some creepy monster crawling down the hallway, and instead of being like, oh, I don't like that, that's, scary, or like getting at the scare factor, I look into it, like I like its design, I like how it moves, it's really cool, that's a really cool idea for a monster, I've never thought about it being, looking like that, or, I just love the way it looks, the way, the thought that went into it, just the monster itself, I think is interesting.
Tell me about your love of aggressive music.
I don't know. I've always liked power metal is my favorite genre of metal. I like
top 3 favorite bands. Go.
Let's see here: Sabaton, Powerwolf, and Iris.
Penny, he's a lost cause. I'm sorry to tell you. These bands are just not good. I'm just kidding, Logan. Just kidding. Yeah, it's not the content. They're just not good bands. But anyway, I'm just playing. Logan, I'm messing with you. So trying to think of an avenue here. Often when... Here's been my experience. I grew up in a strict faith-based home, okay? And I remember watching a scary movie at some point, and my dad, the homicide detective, I remember him saying, I can't imagine somebody watching that for entertainment. And he said that from a place that he saw whatever movie was on, happened to be on, he saw that in real life. And so I remember being like, oh gosh, yeah, you're right. And that's like this, what you're talking about, like, ooh, dude, I can't believe how they pulled that off, especially when it comes to monsters or gore. Like it was a this sounds so dorky. Like there was an artistic kind of, I want to see how then why they did that. But when I begin to peel back, like, why am I? Two parents are still married. I've got good friends. I've got good community. Why on Christmas Day? Every Christmas for 16 straight years, I went to downtown Houston and was part of a punk rock show. And I could have been with my family around the fire, right? And we didn't have a fire, but when I dug into it, that form of extreme stuff was the only place where I had any sort of feeling alive. And I didn't find it in other places. I didn't even find it. I did find it in some competitive sports, but I remember I was a Texas high school football player, dude. There'd be like 7,000 people watching every one of our games, but I'd watch my fellow teammates like banging their heads on lockers before the game. I remember being like, dude, we're playing a game. What are y'all doing? Right. Yeah. And so, but that was a place where I felt alive. So get beneath the artistic and like the explanation. What does this stuff do inside your chest? I'm interested in that. And maybe your experience is different than mine.
Could you like kind of explain what you mean a little more?
Where else do you feel alive than when the music is pulsing on a movie and you know a bad guy's coming and you know you've somebody texted you and said, dude, this one, or you read on the internet like, hey, this one is super gory or this one's really crazy. Where else do you feel alive outside of that environment or at a metal show?
So I'm also extremely, like it is, my main hobby is Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
So I play that. That's, I love playing that with just about anyone.
Okay.
I'll teach just about anyone, just because I love it so much. But that's definitely a place, definitely, with like certain friends. And yeah, those are like, and then, yeah, I would say those are mostly the main places.
So this idea, like you love fantasy and escapism and new worlds and new creations and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Mom, what about that? You say it's really makes you uncomfortable. What is it? What about it makes you uncomfortable?
I think the things that make me feel uncomfortable are desensitization to what's like to true horror and to true suffering.
Sure.
Logan definitely struggles with being encountered with real suffering and will actively avoid that, whether that's on a news program or something like that. Mm-hmm. That I've observed that makes him very uncomfortable. And so my husband and I, we don't understand the inconsistency of being able to sit with something that can be so grotesque on the screen, but having such a hard time sitting with human suffering around him. So that's one thing that makes me feel uncomfortable. I think often there's horror for the sake of horror, and there is no, we talk with Logan a lot about context. Like, there needs to be context to what you're watching. So what is the storyline? How is the story arc? How are the characters developed? One thing we did do is we watched the whole Stranger Things series together. Mm-hmm. And I think both of us, and we read Harry Potter together. That was a little earlier, but I didn't read Harry Potter. There's all this hype around Harry Potter, and then I read it, and I would say our family is an avid Harry Potter family.
Sure.
And we were able to, good and evil, clearly defined. Also, flawed characters, how they grew, how they changed. So I think that I struggle with seeing the story arc in some of these movies and video games, understanding redemption or lack of redemption.
Yeah, there's no redemptive value to it.
I know that there is some, but I struggle with finding it more. I know that there are some great authors, Ted Dekker and Frank Peretti, and they are able to shine a light on darkness, and they're able to illuminate that and help people understand the difference between dark and light.
Yeah, I mean, in some cases, I get that in some cases, but in again, that's going to they're trying to attempt to arc you back to a particular faith belief, right? But sure. I get what you're saying. Here's the impasse y'all are going to find yourself. Logan, when do you turn 18?
Next July.
Okay. And are you going to school? Are you a senior right now?
I'm a junior, and I do homeschool.
Oh, so you homeschool. So when do you go to college? Are you going to college?
I'm not entirely sure yet. Kind of still deciding that.
Okay. Here's the world you find yourself in, and I'll tell you, the more you fight this, the more unnecessary chaos and frustration and rage you're going to bring to your life and to your parents.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately or unfortunately, I'll go with fortunately, but you live in their house. And so when you live in somebody's house, you say, and you're 17, you're not even 18 yet, so you have to, but I'm going to live here, which means I'm going to be subject to the rules. I work at this place, which means I got to dress a certain way. Not super great, but sort of. I got to sort of be on time, right? Like I subject myself to this set of rules so I get the benefits of a paycheck, right? That is the worst thing a 17-year-old can hear from an old man like me, but that's just the truth. And if you choose to go to trade school after that and live 2 more years at mom's house rent-free, it will come with whatever crazy restrictions they choose to put on you. And so there's just a metabolizing of that. Like, you're right. If y'all don't want me watching X or watching Y, I don't like it, but I get it because this is your house. And the more you can make peace with that, quite honestly, you're going to have more peace in your life. On the other side of it, Penny, I will tell you there's I would love to look for outlets because Logan sounds like a kid, like a young man who is interested in. All right, Logan, are you artistic? I'm talking to you like you're not here. Are you into art and art? Like, tell me about that.
A little bit, on and off. I mean, I used to be a lot more, and then I don't know. I just never practiced all that much. So,
Okay,
I mean,
tell me about fantasy stuff. Like, what is it about fantasy that you love? The escapism.
I don't know. It was fantasy is I don't know. It almost scratches an itch for me. It's not even about getting out of my own world or whatever. It's just that I enjoy the setting and the characters and the story arcs that fantasy follows just so much. And I'm not entirely sure why. I love Lord of the Rings. I love almost all of Brandon Sanderson's stuff. Love C.S. Lewis. Everything.
If you could see the nerds in the booth back here pumping their fists, dude. They're all cheering back here, by the way. So, Penny, if nothing else, I work with a group of guys who are atomic nerds, and they're great men that I would trust my kids with. They've all grown up well. There's one guy in the booth back here that I wouldn't trust with my kid, but other than that, everybody's doing pretty good. But Logan, I want to honor that. I think that's awesome. I think that's cool. My challenge to you would be looking for places where you can plug into real people. That's why, I think the what is it, Magic the Gathering? I wouldn't know a Magic the Gathering card if somebody put it in front of me. But every time I hear about coworkers of mine or friends of mine, whatever, playing, I love it because they get together with other people, sit around a table.
Yeah.
I personally am completely out on chaotic first-person shooter games unless you're going to head to the military and become a drone operator. And the connection, the connective tissue there is just not healthy. And I could do a whole other thing about that, but we don't need to bore you with that right now. And now they're all booing me back there in the booth. They're like, boo. Right.
And I only, at the moment, I only have one. It was one game that was a hard-won battle, but I got it at the end, and I've played through that game very many times, but I only just have the one game at the moment.
Okay. I guess the best thing I could encourage you guys to do is to continue these conversations, Penny, and encourage you and your, because y'all are having the right conversations. And I love the fact that you're like, fine, we're all going to read Harry Potter together. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And Logan, I hope that you will honor your parents when they say like, hey, I'm making up movies here. Silence of the Lambs is a masterpiece, and it's pretty dark, and there's some redemption at the end, and that's different than Beastmaster 19, Return of the Slaughterfest, right? Like, there's differences there, right? And people can go through their whole life with neither of those films in their minds, but there is something to be said for one of those is just pure non-redemptive garbage. And one of those is maybe not good for the soul, but there is a darkness and an arc to it, like you said, Penny.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess where I get concerned for both of you is if you both give up on each other.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be in the position to say, or I'll just say, I'm not going to be in the position to say these movies are okay, these movies are not okay. I will tell you that Logan's about to be 18, and your influence on him, I hope, lasts beyond 18. And any sort of lasting influence has to shift from I control you because legally you can't do anything in this house to like you've been doing, hey, let's read the reviews. Let's talk about that. What about this even is appetizing or appealing? Or I'm going to watch the first 15 minutes of this with me, and you got to explain why this is even a thing. And so, because we're going to shift, and Logan, it's you choosing, which is a nutty thing to ask a 17-year-old, you choosing to believe, even when it doesn't feel like it, my mom and dad care about my mind and my spirit. And dude, when you get some images in your head, they never leave. And this massive desensitization that's happened across our culture, dude, there will be hell to pay for it. There's no question about it. We're paying it right now. Everything seems to be not real when we see it through a screen. And there's a lot of real, live hurt and pain going on in the world that we just don't feel anymore because it's all melted away on the screen. So I'd say this, keep struggling with this thing together. And Penny, that's not an easy answer. And Logan, that's not an easy answer. But the struggle tells me y'all are still engaging in relationship and you're still going back and forth. And sometimes, Penny, you're going to go, fine. And sometimes, Logan, you're going to have to say, I don't like it, but I trust my mom and dad that they love me. And they're trying to keep garbage out of my spirit, man. So best of luck to you. Good luck. And if you solve that, let me know. Actually, you won't solve it, so you don't have to let me know. Thank you so much for the call. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Most of us are guilty of oversharing with the wrong person at one time or another. Or maybe you're like me and you're just a bit of an oversharer all the time. Let's be honest, our entire culture is based on oversharing, and everyone is giving everyone else mental health advice all of the time. Some of it may be good, but a ton of the advice floating around is nonsense. And as fun as it can be to talk about everyday stuff with everyone you meet, when you need help with relationships, anxiety, depression, or other clinical issues, they may not have the right answers. You may need real guidance from a licensed therapist who follows a strict code of conduct. And that's why I recommend reaching out to my friends at BetterHelp. BetterHelp's the largest online therapy provider in the world. And that means no matter what you're facing, chances are they've got someone who specializes in exactly what you're struggling with. And it's totally online. And that means it's easier to fit therapy into your busy schedule. To get started, just answer a few simple questions, nothing weird or scary, and they're going to connect you with a licensed therapist who fits your needs. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch at any time for no extra cost. BetterHelp has been matching people with therapists for over a decade, and they know what they're doing. So find the right one with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Delony to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Delony. All right, Kelly, am I the problem?
All right, this is from Jessica in Charleston, South Carolina. And
Awesome.
she writes, I'm 35. I have 3 young boys, 5, 6, and 7. They're very close in age, and they're just boys. They fight and wrestle, play with swords, play ninja, pirate, and tumble around all the time. They're not fighting like they hate one another. They love play fighting and rolling around. They're loud. They're filthy most of the time. They rarely wear shoes outside. You get the picture. They're also polite, and they do well in school, and they make friends easily. But I'm starting to see a trend of moms not inviting my boys to things because we, quote-unquote, can't handle all 3, or only inviting one boy, or saying that my boys are just too wild. Am I hurting them socially by allowing them to have fun with wrestling and fighting, or am I trying to befriend the wrong moms?
Ooh, great question. I mean, this is hard to answer without knowing them because I know there's a context there, but in the way she wrote that email, I hear a mom who is loving the life she's creating for her rambunctious wild boys. And I guess I want to honor that. And I don't ever want someone to quash the spirit of somebody. At the same time, wrestling and rambunctiousness and fighting has a context. And equally important when you're raising young boys is what my wife has kindly termed time and place, which is I fully understand that you and Hank need to crash into each other, and for some reason you have to make those jokes that I just don't think are funny, but you all seem to think they're hilarious. But he also needs to learn there's a time and place that you don't do that at a dinner table. You don't do that at a friend's house. When you walk into somebody's house, you take your shoes off and you say, yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and you shake hands. Like, so that may be the missing link here, which is there's a fine line between celebrating the rambunctiousness that is young boys and being feral. And there's a fine line between being respectful and being, what's the right word? The word just left my head. Being compliant, like I'm going to squash who I am to make you happy, right? And so I guess I need more context with those boys, but hopefully that framework helps. What do you think?
I understand. And I mean, in her friend's defense, probably taking all three of them would be a lot.
Well, you know what? That's a good point. Like as kids get older, they're going to have, like the 8-year-old's going to have, there's a big difference between 6 and 8 and 8 and 10 than there is 4 and 6, right? So that is going to happen more and more and more as they get older. And you'll have a younger son whose big brothers are starting to leave and go do other stuff, and he's going to get mad and upset. What? That's life right there. So you're exactly right on that.
Yeah, I think someone expecting to take all three of your children, whether they're perfect little angels or, rambunctious boys, is a lot.
Yes.
So you invite them over, or because they also do need to learn to play with other children and abide by the rules at that person's house. But when they're at your house,
let them rip.
Have at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think she's wrong or right.
Yeah, that's the time and place. Yeah. And we all know snooty other parents who are like, eh. And so, no, if somebody's looking down their nose at your child, or more specifically at you, they're opting out. If somebody's calling out behaviors and actions in your own kids that drive you crazy that you know is a problem, then you got to deal with those.
Right. Or if they're calling out bullying or your child's roughhousing went too far, they're
breaking stuff in my house.
Yeah, they're hurting my child. Yes. Then that's a different thing.
My mom got many of those phone calls from neighborhood mothers growing up. So many of them. And it's important to learn time and place, right? So good call. Yeah, there's not really am I the problem here on this one? I need more context to really be able to make a call. But I do love the question, and every parent has some time for reflection. And the more parents reflect, man, the better we are all going to be. Thank you so much for the calls. Love you guys. Stay out of trouble. Bye.